Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to show you how to build a giant skeleton statue. So that way, you just have a giant skeleton to look over your world, and you can flex on all of your friends with a giant skeleton, which they probably do not have. So this is also going to be the last Halloween video for the year, because next Tuesday is November, therefore ending my legal obligation for this. So without further ado, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this. And let's just move on to the palette. So we're going to be using light gray concrete, stone, cyan terracotta, just a lot of gray blocks. There's not inherently a right or wrong for this. So really just grab whatever you can find gray, and you can probably make it work. Then get a nice skeleton model, so no AI, possibly just take a screenshot, and it's not important to have the colors now, just the shape. So once you have that, get a 10 by 8 area, so that way you have enough room to fit your skeleton. Height also I did not calculate for, but at least 30 blocks. So with our area, which is also 32 blocks tall if you guys were wondering about the measurements for height, we want to have 2 legs, and just 2 by 2, and we can see the legs are 2 pixels apart, because if we can see here, I did not summon this very line, but half a pixel, 1 pixel, and another half. So we have that going. Make these little sticks 12 blocks tall now. And once you do that, then make a little area. So 2 by, you can see the measurements here, so 3 blocks. 1 block protrusion on either side, and lower it by 1 block in the middle. So we have our 2 spires, and to clear up any confusion about how to do the hips, we go 1 block outward like this. We can see the middle part here, so we just lower it by 1. Then we just have this wrap around. And now we have basically what hips. Then we can have the spine going up from here. And you want to stack the spine 10 blocks above, starting here, for a grand total of 12 blocks for this area. We got a spine, also a little bit of corrections on the hips. There's not a hole in the middle. So we have that area more polished. And we want the ribs to wrap around here. So the shape of the actual ribs is quite complicated. So it would just be better to look at the skeleton pixel by pixel. Otherwise it would get very confusing how I'd word it. So we have the ribs partially in, just a little bit of a start, and of course they're lopsided already. But aside from that, what we want to do is start the arms, because they're really easy. Aligning here, and remember to always double check everything, so that way you don't just end up with lopsided things. So I got that right. And you go 12 blocks down. So we have 2 here, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Then make these 2 by 2, and you have skeleton arms. With our skeleton's body complete, we now need to make the skull. So I've calculated the middle, it's just right here in front of the spine, and you want to make an 8 by 8 by 8 cube surrounding it. So these are the middle 2 blocks. So, it might get a little complicated at times, but going out 3 blocks on either side works out. So create your cube from here, and once you're done with that, then you want to destroy the bottom, because it turns out skeletons actually don't have a bottom for their skull. And proof of that, so yeah, kind of odd. So make your 8 by 8 by 8 cube hollow with no bottom. With the skull now in place, well, we have something. So it's time to make it into a real skull. So 1 block from the bottom, replace this layer with some gray concrete. Some cyan terracotta here works. And I think I've placed the eyes too low, but the most important thing is to constantly check back with the actual skeleton. And it turns out skeletons actually just kind of look like that. So, it's a little weird. So, the cracks you can see in the skull where the bones just come together, you want to accent those. And you can see the jawline here, make that iron terracotta. So, in essence, you just want to texture this lightly. Although it might be a little difficult because, it's really just a lot of light gray, still, there is improvement to be made. So, I've added some cyan terracotta. It's not the end of the cyan terracotta, but it's some. And you can see the skull is now quite a bit more textured. So, anytime you see dark pixels, such as these little cracks on the top, or these little things on the ribs, then just replace that part with a little bit of cyan terracotta. So, it's quite simple actually. Albeit, you're probably going to need a lot of scaffolding if you're on survival mode. And once you have that, your skeleton will be complete. And we finished our texturing. It's not necessarily completely accurate, but it looks good, so might as well have it like that. And you have a giant skeleton statue, which honestly just looks kind of cool. If you're looking about how to build a bow, I am going to be honest, I'm not sure how to place a bow if it has outstretched arms, but fortunately I have a tutorial about how to do pixel art, specifically items, so you can just watch that if you're interested in making the bow. So, with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. So, enjoy the rest of your spooky month. Gearsaw out.